What is going on, you guys? Today I have another episode for you where I'm going to be reviewing a YouTuber named Shu, and the title here is The Real Reasons Dating in Asia Beats the USA. Let's get into it.
We're going to be talking about dating in Asia versus the US, okay? I'm going to be telling you guys my experience, talking to you guys about my experience since I've been here, and my experience in the US and how it differs, how it's the same, what I like about Asia versus the US, what I dislike, all of these type of things. So if you guys don't know me, man, my name is Shu. I've been living in Southeast Asia since April of 2024. Whatever month it is right now, you might be watching this in the future, but as of now, I think that's like 4.5, 5 months almost. I was living in Malaysia for a few months, but now I am living in Vietnam. So let's just get straight into the video, okay? When I was in Malaysia, like I said, I lived there for 3 months. I must admit, I had like a terrible dating experience in Malaysia. It was, I guess it's just like not really the place for a single man to go. And at first I didn't understand why. Like maybe I'm at a mall, I tried to talk to somebody, like it just wasn't really going my way for whatever reason. Well, I know the reason now, but when I first got there, I couldn't really understand what was going on. And so in Malaysia, for example, they are a majority Muslim country, and I believe 63% of the country is Muslim. And so with that being said, if you are not a Muslim man, you are already like eliminated from all of those women because I believe in the Islamic faith. I think men can date women from other religions, but I don't believe women can date men from other religions. I don't think it works like that. So like I said, 60% of the country is Muslim, and so if you're not Muslim, that's already a huge deal breaker. And then on top of that, I was on Instagram one day, and I was just scrolling, but it was a thread, and it was talking about all of the countries, not all of the countries, but like the countries and the age where they lose their V card. And Malaysia was #1, and I thought that was so interesting. And I believe the age was about 23, and the age for the US said like 18 or something like that. And that's a 5-year difference. 18 and 23, that's a very big difference. And for them to be #1 on the list of the latest to lose their V card, that says a lot about the country. Not only does it say a lot about the country, but it also says a lot about the women, the type of women you're going to be dealing with. Are they going to be open to talk to a foreigner? Are they, like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that they're waiting that long to do that, just like they have some type of like modesty, respect for themselves, like et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to be an easy task, and not necessarily like that part, but even like just getting to know them, they probably aren't going to be as open to get to know strangers, especially a black guy from Atlanta. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Malaysia, it wasn't really it as far as dating go. But for other things, I definitely had a good time. And also like in Malaysia, I didn't really meet a ton of people. Like I met I met my friends at the Muay Thai, but like as far as like going out, having buddies I could go out with or things like that, I didn't really have any of those friends like that. So maybe my perception is skewed, and maybe I just didn't have the right connections, make the right friends, and so I didn't meet the right people. That's definitely a possibility, as well as I was staying like 35-40 minutes away from the city, and that could also be something that like kind of hindered my my growth. But so the good news is though,
Yeah, so he said two interesting things there. So one, he said, it sounded like he said he lived 30 to 45 minutes away from the city. So that could definitely make it a little bit difficult, right? If you're not able to just kind of walk around the city super easy, like walk out of your apartment and, do a quick trip, right? Like it's very different if you're in a city like Bangkok or maybe where he's at in Vietnam. You can just walk outside and say hello to people, right? So that could definitely be a big part of what held him back there. And if he wasn't really socializing as much, like he said, he didn't make as many friends, or maybe, sometimes you got to figure out like maybe what's like a best way to meet women in that specific country, right? If it's like a specific dating app or a specific approach that they might do, right? Because he said a lot of them were Muslim, and obviously that would make it super difficult if they're not really dating guys that aren't Muslim, right? I mean, that would almost immediately cut them out of the dating pool there. Although I'm sure that there are some girls there that are approachable and open to dating outside of that religion, right? But I can see like it would make it super challenging. So I bet there's other guys. If you're watching this and you've been to Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia and you have your dating experience, drop a comment below. I'd be curious to hear about what that was like, because it sounds like it would be challenging with the religion part. Now,
my experience in Vietnam has been the complete opposite. Okay, I've been having an amazing time in Vietnam. Like, it's wonderful here. The dating scene is wonderful here. I have absolutely no complaints about the dating scene in Vietnam. Meeting people here has been way easier, and I think that also could be a reason why like the dating scene has been better for me here. When I got here, like within like the first week, I was already like integrated into a circle where I was able to find like the cool spots. Let's say I go to a party, I'm already behind the DJ booth, the first party I go to, so I'm seeing different people, meeting different people, shaking hands. And it probably would have took me longer to find these spots had I not known the people that I known. So me coming here and having friends, that definitely helped out a lot. And it's just so many people here that are just open to becoming friends or talking or are just super friendly. Like just like right now, I'm just outside chilling, but people are just walking around here. You're probably gonna see people like behind me and stuff. I literally cannot go outside my condo without seeing at least like 5 beautiful women. I swear, like, not even exaggerating. And that's like the minimum. And I'm talking about in the morning time, at nighttime, 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 p.m. Like, that's just how it is over here. And so, I meet a lot of people just like that. Just I'm at a bakery, or I'm at a cafe, or I'm at just a supermarket or a convenience store, or I'm getting smoothies. Like, it's people everywhere, and like I said, they're just much more open to talk and be friends and just have conversations with you. So it just leads to a more intimate type of relationship. And then like on top of that, like I said, like even over here, like y'all see in the videos when I walk around, it's coffee shops, it's cafes, it's food places. Like, there's spots everywhere. I feel like when I was in Atlanta, you really had to do research to find a good date spot. But here, you can just walk down the street and you're gonna find something. It's gonna be like, it's just so much to do here. It's food everywhere, it's restaurants everywhere, it's like pool halls everywhere, it's bars everywhere, it's multiple streets where people come together and gather together. It's all of this stuff here, so you don't have to spend like all week trying to find like one spot, and then that one spot is like super crowded. Everybody, like, no, it's not that type of situation. It's like you could go to a lot of places here, and so I think that also makes dating easier, because it's more convenient. Like, I can meet a girl like right now walking, like, hey, you want to go grab a coffee? Like, super quick, you know what I mean? And then also another big,
yeah, I mean, it sounds like you can just walk outside and kind of trip into a date spot, and also maybe trip into a decent approach with a cute girl. So obviously that would make it a little bit easier than maybe the previous situation he was in.
thing is, it's much more popular for friends to like get together and hang out here in different settings. Like right now, like I said, I'm out here, but in the next like hour or so, you will see like maybe like one of those tables, or like maybe a table like this, it'll be filled up with like 6, 7, 8 people, or it'll be like some people like sitting on the sidewalk even having a beer or stuff like that. And if you watched my last video, you saw it was like a whole block on the street where people were just sitting down in these like little tiny plastic chairs, drinking tea, hanging out with their friends. And so all it takes is for you to meet one person, and then you get connected with the whole circle, and then, you know what I mean? It's just easy to meet people that way. And the thing about like in the United States, depending on where you are living at, like in Atlanta, it's not too many places, because it is dangerous. Like, it's a real possibility that like gunshots or like robberies or like that type of stuff, to where people can't just sit around and have tea with their friends outside at night without worrying about what's going on in their surroundings. Like I said, just watch the video, you'll see people are literally just hanging out without a care in the world. And so you have to imagine, if that's how people are meeting up, it's easy to find somebody to date. It's easy to find somebody that you might be interested in. And that's just like the in-person situation. We're not even...
Yeah, so that's a good point. So he's starting to talk about in-person, right? Which means without dating apps. And of course, that's another element to it. But it sounds like overall they're a little bit more friendly, a little bit more open to starting conversations with strangers or being approached, right? And I'm from the U.S. as well, so what he said there was really interesting about Georgia. I've lived close to D.C., San Francisco, L.A., right? I've lived in safer spots too, but that's a good point that he brings up. And it's what's even better about that point is I'm sure that there's a lot of people that have some kind of misconception, like the wrong idea about Vietnam. Like, oh, are you sure you want to go there? Isn't it dangerous there? Isn't it probably unsafe? You should be careful, but it sounds like it's safer than the US. And it sounds like it might be a lot safer than the US. And I hear that about other Asian countries as well. So it's quite interesting that he brought that up.
Talking about dating app shit, right? So in the US, I never used dating apps, so I'm not sure how dating apps work in the US. I'm not sure if they're like, if you guys would say y'all like them or if y'all don't like them. Like, I can't really speak on that. But I do know dating apps are popular here, and I do know that it's a lot of foreigners here. So it's a lot of people that use dating apps, okay? And yeah, so because like people come here, like Ho Chi Minh is a popular tourist destination, so people come here all the time and don't really know people, and so they use dating apps to get to know people. They meet up with people. That's super common here. So like I said, it's easy to meet people just outside, being outside. I meet a fair share of people just walking around, or like a mutual connection, or like I said, in a convenience store. But it's also very easy to meet people through like dating apps, because people are coming out here, by themselves or with a friend or something like that, and they're just looking for somebody to have a good time with. You know what I mean? And like it could just be a genuine good time, like just hang out with, show the city to them, something like that. But either way it goes, it's easy to meet people here. And then I think also the cost of living here makes dating a lot more pleasant. In the US, everything is so expensive. You don't really want to waste your money. Nobody wants to waste their money, like especially a guy. Like, you work hard, then you gotta pay $30, $40, $50 for a haircut, which is only $5, $6 here. Then you gotta fill your gas tank up, $30. You gotta go to a restaurant, that's gonna be another like $30, $40, $50, $60. You know what I mean? You already investing over $100 and you don't even know this person. But here, that same exact situation I described, it would be like, what, $5 for a haircut, it'll be $5 for a taxi, and it'll be $10 for food. You know what I mean? So you're spending $20 if you get drinks.
Yeah, I love that he brought that stuff up, because the cost of living goes way down, which means that no matter what you do for your date, it's gonna be way less costly, right? So easier for you to do that more, and especially if you're just taking them out on like a quick coffee date or to get to know them over drinks, right? It's different if you're like taking them out for steaks. Although, to be real with you, you probably shouldn't be doing that for your first date anyways. You want it to be more casual, chill, so it's easy for one or both of you to leave if the vibe isn't there, right? So number one, start doing like ice cream drinks, or I don't know, a smoothie, boba, coffee, something inexpensive, and a walk in like a park, beach, downtown area that's inexpensive, and you can go on a bunch of first dates to figure out who's a good fit for you, right? So I like that he brought that up. And as well, it sounds like the dating apps work a little bit more smoothly, like it's easier for people to connect versus maybe, I hear a lot of guys say that it's difficult to do that in the US, like they have trouble getting matches, or they have trouble getting out on dates. So it seems like maybe people are a little bit more open to meeting up on the apps there.
Maybe that's another like $10, but that's $30 for a whole date. And that's much more reasonable and much more of a pleasant experience than America, where it's like you got to put up $150. And then and some people, that creates entitlement. They feel like, okay, I invested this amount with you, so I should get something in return. And that kind of like messes up with people's heads and like messes up the whole dating scenario as well. So I do think the cost of living actually does play a very, very big part. And you can even date multiple people here. Like, that's what you're interested in. If you want to get to know 1, 2, 3 people at a time or whatever, it's not that hard to do. It's not impossible to do. But in the US, if you think you're about to get to know 3 people at one time, you better have your pockets together, bro, because it's not gonna be cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're in the US, and unless you're like doing well for yourself, well off, comfortable, dating and relationships is like really just counterproductive to trying to get to your goals. You know what I mean? Like here, I'm cool with dating here because like I can make a YouTube video or with them or something like that, so it helps. But and at the same time, I'm not breaking the bank. But in the U.S., like, bro, I'm not finna link up with 3 girls and spend $100 on, bro. We're not doing anything like that. Like, it's just not happening. So yeah, here it's just more laid back, more chill, and it's just not. It's not really.
Well, and not even just that. The add-on to that should be that you can actually enjoy dating, right? There's nothing holding you back from dating. That's a big part of what's going on in like the US or other Western countries. So nothing would hold you back from dating anymore. And so it's just like socializing too, right? Like people stop eating out. They stop going out to meet friends and doing things because mostly it's their pocket. You know, they're worried about their finances. So the fact that you can more openly go out, meet friends, do things, eat food out more often, enjoy yourself, get to know someone over a date, more like you should be able to incorporate that in your normal day-to-day lifestyle, right? So you can find someone who you really vibe with. So the fact that people have to live a life where they limit themselves from actually living and they're just existing, it's tough, man. It's sad. So that's why this kind of thing is so cool. It's you can actually start opening up and enjoying your life again in a lot of different ways.
And inconvenience. It's more of, it's, you know, like I said, it's a pleasant experience. And if you haven't watched one of my most recent YouTube videos, I just walked around and like did a day in the life, and I showed you guys what it is that I spend in one day. So if that's just like a day in the life for me, just imagine like how it is for dating. It's the same thing, same situation. Activities are cheap, drinks are cheap. You know what I mean? Taxis are cheap. It just doesn't cost a lot of money to get to know somebody. And in addition to that, I realized that like the women here, they don't really mind like opening their wallets because, and not that I'm expecting like a handout, or not that I don't expect to like, okay, we're going to date to that. I expect to pay, but sometimes like this has happened like multiple times. I'll be out and I might not have cash on me, or I might not have enough cash, but they don't take Apple Pay at the place that I'm at. And so, like, she has to pay. The girl I'm with, she has to pay. And it's never, like, a second thought. You know what I mean? It's not a second thought, like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. And it's not even a situation where it's like, oh, yeah, make sure you send me that money back, or, like, nothing like that. It's just no big deal at all. And that's a big difference, because if you do that, like, you got, like, 2 times in the U.S., you do that with a girl, bro, she gonna block you. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to spend her money to get to know you. Like, but out here, it's a little bit different. Like, they don't mind investing. They aren't, like I said, afraid to open their wallets. Like, that's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal. And that could be because of cost of living. Like, things, if she has a decent job, then it's no big deal to pay, you know, $7 for like a croissant and some tea. You feel me? It's no big deal. Like, oh yeah, like the whole 50-50 conversation.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that he brought that up too, because I've noticed that as well, living in a few different countries in Southeast Asia, is that they're offering, right? I'm always gonna pay, but they're offering, which is way different. Like, I wasn't experiencing that much in the US, right? Like, you know, I think a lot of guys can attest to that too. It happens sometimes, right? But I'm getting it way more now. They're offering, like, oh, can I get it this time? Can I cover the bill this time? Maybe I got dinner and then they got desserts or coffee or drinks, right? So either way, like, you know, they keep trying to balance it out. Oh, like, let me get the next one, or oh, no, like, you paid for the last one, let me get this, or can we split it? Right? Like, they'll try to do that. And again, like, I always cover it, but it's like, it's cool to actually see that, and the gesture is nice, because guess what? It's a green flag that they offered, that they say thank you, that they actually remember to say thank you, and they appreciate what you've done. And I can't believe that some people think that they can get away with that, right? That there's like, no, you should be doing that anyway, so I don't need to say thank you. That's just what you do as a man. It's like, so I'm just a wallet. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're also people, and we like to be appreciated, and so it's nice of you to just do that. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, like I don't know who raised you, right? But but that's just basic manners, you know. So it's good that he brought that up.
In my opinion, I genuinely believe that women are way more likely to be okay with going 50-50 on the first date than they are in the U.S. I 100% believe that. And I don't think it's because of the fact that they feel like men shouldn't be covering all the bills or anything like that. I think it's the simple fact that we're both strangers, we don't know each other. I can pay for my own food. You know what I mean? I think that's much more of a common mindset out here than it is in the U.S. And because of that mindset, you will see people only dating people that they're interested in. You know what I mean? I think in the U.S., women are super down to go out with guys because they aren't paying. So whether they're like genuinely interested in you or not, they will definitely go out with you and just waste your time and waste your money and not care because.
Yeah, it's validation, and they want free food, right? It's called the foodie call. It's like a play on the booty call thing. But yeah, totally know what he means. And also, just a funny side note to this, I've also experienced, let's say there's a place that doesn't take card, but they do like their app that's local to like different Asian countries. So an app, their bank app. So for example, I have card and they don't take that. And then the girl has cash, and I've already gotten several of our other dates. So she doesn't even think twice. She's like, oh, don't worry, I got this. Right? That's so cool. Like, that's so chill. And again, you'd be like, okay, like, I'll, no worries. Like, I'll get you back later, pay for it later. And she's like, no. Like it's on me. Like, that is sick. That is so cool. So that's why, like, we're very appreciative of that. So it's the nice little gestures that count.
Come out of pocket. But here, I think that's less likely because they're down to split the first bill. Like, we don't know each other, we're strangers. Like, okay, y'all pay for my food. They're down to do that. So they're not about to just waste their money or anything like that on a guy that they have absolutely no interest in. And the women themselves are just two completely different types of women, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the women here are all super friendly, super feminine. Like, they all fit in shape. Like, I don't know, it's not like anything overly aggressive. They all got sweet voices. They all are like, what's the word? Docile, I think. Is that a good word to use? They aren't trying to run things. They aren't trying to be like the boss or the head or anything like that. They all are just like super chill and super sweet, and just playing their position. Simple as that. And as a man, like, that's really what you want. You want somebody that could get on your program. You want somebody that's interested in what you got going on, and you say, hey, this is what I got going on. For example, like, okay, look, I got this YouTube thing going on. You could come in my life and you can help me in this way, that way, this way, that way. And that's what a man ideally wants, especially if he has like goals and he has like an idea of like what it is that he is trying to get out of life. He would just prefer a woman that's just going to come around and trust his guidance. And that's definitely the situation that's going on here. You know what I mean? And then kind of like what I was talking about earlier, when I was
being peaceful, being willing to be led. Right? You can have disagreements, of course, but actually them being willing to hear you out, right? You can have a normal conversation instead of arguing, instead of them causing a headache or being combative. You can actually both talk it out and come to a solution like humans. And she wants to be feminine. She wants you to lead. She wants to help you with what you're working towards accomplishing for your life.
And like, they aren't really out here just trying to waste your time. Whenever I meet women, like I said, they all are friendly, but they'll make it very clear. It might be through signs, it might not be directly, but they make it very clear whether they're interested in you or not. Okay, they aren't about to just text you for a week straight and then flake on you when it's time to like link up. Like, no, if they aren't interested in you, they just are never going to text you. And if they are, then they will text you, and when it's time to link, they'll link. You know what I mean? There's no games and hidden agendas and like none of that. Like, they're not just trying to waste your time, bro. They're not doing that. Another huge difference, and this is, I think, might be considered underrated when it comes to the difference between women and dating in America versus Asia. Social media, okay? The social media presence of the women here are like day and night, okay? I promise you, like, I'll show you like right now, bro. The other day, I was with my bro, and we were going out, and we were at a bar, and I seen this gorgeous woman from the Philippines, like gorgeous. We chopped it up and stuff like that. I got her Instagram. She has 13 followers, and one of them is me, and the other one is her friend that she was with when I met her. But I'm telling you, she is gorgeous. Like, and then I met another girl, like a couple days ago, and bro, she could be like literally like supermodel. Like I promise, I'm not exaggerating at all, bro. She literally has 11 followers. Okay, so the social media presence in Asia and America is just completely different. Pretty much, I would say like 95% of the women that I have encountered, they have less than 600 followers. They are, they have a private account, and they aren't posting their body on social media, right?
Yep.
They aren't just posting a bunch of stuff for attention. Like, that's just not really what's going on. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, but like most women are just like on some super low key, like maybe 30 followers, maybe 100 followers, maybe 500, 400 followers, but nothing too crazy. Just like super low key, super out the way with it. And as a man, you know, that's kind of what you would prefer. You prefer your woman to, like, nobody knows. Like, you know, sometimes you just want to keep something to yourself. And in America, that kind of gets ruined because of the social media presence, especially in like places like Atlanta. It's almost like, you know, everybody wants to be a superstar and everybody wants to be a celebrity. And, you know, a lot of women post whatever for attention, post their body for attention. You know, they're trying to be the next big thing. And, you know, as a man, you don't always want that. You kind of, just, like I said, want something to yourself. But in the U.S., like I said, I'm from Atlanta. The likelihood that you find a girl with less than 100 followers in a private account is, that gotta be like 5% of the population. If you go out to the mall, that gotta be 5% of the girls at the mall. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big difference. And we all know, like, relationships in America, like, are ruined by social media. Posting each other, not posting each other, liking pictures, what the person is liking, what the person is posting, all of this stuff, like harms relationships in the U.S. And because the women here, the way that they use social media, and obviously I don't know how the guys use social media here, because I'm not talking to the guys to know all that, but I do know the women, and that's the ideal way that, or I think that's the most optimal way to be beneficial to a relationship. Just chill, low-key, not doing too much on social media. Like, nobody wants their girl just posting pictures, seeking attention from men, getting a bunch of like random comments and replies from like men just because she wanted to post a picture of herself so bad, of her body or whatever. You know what I mean? Nobody wants that, bro. Not a respectable man in my opinion, but what do I know? And then adding on to this, right? Women don't really, it's not, I think it's not only not normal, I don't think it's socially acceptable to like openly carry yourself like a 304, right? I'm not saying that some of these girls are not out here doing whatever that they're doing. That's not what I'm saying. But they aren't walking around dressed like they just left Magic City Strip Club. That's not how they're walking out. Like, they're not just walking around like that, going to Target or going to the coffee shop or even going out during nightlife. They're not walking around like they are workers on the blade. Like, that's not what's going on here. And if that is what's going on here, it's not the majority, right? It's definitely a small minority, and it's not socially acceptable. In America, a girl could post her body and her comments are going to be flooded with saying she's bad, even though it's like she shouldn't be doing that, you know what I mean? But here, a girl isn't about to just be like walking around and getting a whole bunch of support from everybody. She might get support from like some of her close friends, but it's just not socially acceptable. It's not normal to walk around dressed like you work at a strip club, bro. I know, like, in America now, it's like a new trend of women, like, they're like walking around showing, like, you know, their breasts and their nipples like through their shirts. Bro, you are not going to see anything like that here. I've never seen anything like that here, never. And like I said, that's not to say that they aren't on that timing, but at least they don't carry themselves like that. Also, like, I've noticed, like, the women here are kind of
just a side note to that. I think a lot of guys could probably agree with this. Not all of them, but a lot of them probably. Is one sneaky, awesome piece of clothing on women is a sundress, right? It's very feminine, very classy too, and it's a lot more in the direction that he's talking about of like respectable, basically. You know, I just have to say it like it is, you know, because he's talking about being able to run into a lot more promiscuity and weirdness in the U.S. and it being a very small thing to run into in Vietnam or Asia. And there's a reason for that. It's good. It's more traditional. It's better. It's classier, more respectful. So I mean, I think it's a great point that he brought up because a lot of guys are more into that anyways.
I want to say more interesting because they, like, for example, like the girl I was hanging out with the other day, she speaks like 4 or 5 different languages. Like, that's just interesting. You know what I mean? It's just the conversations are different. life experiences are different. It's just different, man. It's just different. But I do prefer dating over here than back in the U.S. And it's so funny because I literally don't like. It's going to take a lot for me to date somebody in the U.S. again. I really don't feel like my mindset aligns with most of the women in America. You know, and I'm not the type that's just closed. Like, I'm super open-minded and super down to get to know somebody, but if it's not that, it's not that, and I'm not going to force it to be that. And I'll recognize very quickly what it is and what it's not. But something else that I have to consider being over here, right, is a lot of my experiences that I've had so far are short-term. I don't know what a long-term relationship or a long-term situation would look like, because if I'm being honest, you know, I am a traveling man. I'm moving around a lot. You know, today I'm here, tomorrow I might be gone. You know, you might see me today and then might never see me again for the rest of your life. I don't know. And so if I know that, I'm sure women also pick up on that. And because of that, they might be more hesitant to think long-term with me. They might be more hesitant to take me serious. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I can imagine, like, me being a deal breaker for a lot of women. A lot of women won't even give me the time of day because they know, like, hey, he's not from here. He's not about to be here for a long time. I'm not about to even involve myself with him. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's cool, that's understandable, and I get that. But nonetheless, man, from my experience, dating has been great, at least in Vietnam. I'm looking to travel more and see how everything else is in like places like Thailand, places like the Philippines. I'm very excited to go to the Philippines, I'm not gonna lie. I met that girl the other night, like I said, she's from the Philippines. I'm like, yo, I'm about to book a flight right now. But yeah, so yeah, man, that's dating in Southeast Asia versus USA.
Yeah, guys, obviously a really good video, and he has a lot of really good points in there. I especially like that last thing that he brought up. Obviously, there's a lot of positives to it. And definitely, if you are maybe traveling more, I would definitely recommend you have that conversation with them, you know, when you go out with them, and just let them know that, you know, you're only staying for this amount of time, and just be upfront and honest with them, you know, about your intentions, how long you're staying, right? And a lot of them will really respect that, and, you know, they might not want to do more with you, but you'll at least be able to enjoy that first date, right? And some of them will be open to seeing you more. Or if for some of you guys, you might be looking for a new home, right? You know, somewhere where you actually want to set down roots after a while, after feeling things out. So you might actually want to stay in one of these places like Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, or maybe somewhere else in the world, you know, like South America or Romania. You know, there's all these different spots that guys are liking right now. So, you know, you might get to the point where you're doing less of the digital nomad bouncing around and actually looking for a new place to sit down your roots. So just, again, like, always be upfront and honest with them about, you know, are you planning to stay longer, or are you only going to leave after a little bit? But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Go check out Shu's channel. It's SHU. And he's got a lot of great videos on traveling around Asia. So go check him out. Subscribe to him. Of course, you're welcome to like, comment, subscribe on this channel as well. And I actually just started offering private consultations for those of you that want help with these sorts of things. You can book that in the description below this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. And you got this, bro.